Hello, so good to see you both. If you don't know me, I'm Paige. I'm the current Faculty of Health, Social Care and Medicine President. Do you both want to tell me a little bit about sort of who you are and sort of what role you did and what year you were president?
Shall I go first?
Go on, Jack. Kick it off.
So, my name's Jack. I was the Faculty of Arts and Sciences President in 22-23, I think. Yes, 22-23.
I'm Ben, and I was the Education President in the year 2022-2023.
Oh, fabulous. So in terms of, that was a few years ago now, can you remember sort of what you were nervous about when you started the role or prior to starting the role, even during the role at all?
For me, what I was nervous about was, I was partly nervous for like the whole election process, I think beforehand, because partly because I'd gone through quite a few elections in school and never been elected for anything, but also I just didn't really know what to expect in terms of like whether you would have to do any sort of public speaking as part of the initial election process, because I think that's what a lot of maybe some people have preconceptions of like maybe standing in front of big rooms of people, which maybe as part of the role you will do, but it can be quite daunting as part of an election process. But it was nice to know that wasn't as heavily involved.
I suppose echoing what Jack said, really, I think mine was quite similar, but mine was sort of the flip side of that, because actually, obviously, because a lot of the elections is done online, that actually being really visible on social media for someone who's sort of quite private and doesn't really post much on social media, and then that obviously then transcended into the role, which becomes very public facing, sort of people recognising you everywhere, especially when you're in the supermarket doing your weekly shop.
Yeah, I think I felt the same. Like, I remember just being like, how am I meant to? Like, I've always done social media and enjoyed it, but I think it was that sort of front-facing, in-person presence. Like you said, you've got people coming up to you in Ormskirk or when you're out on a night going, you're the president, and it's like, yeah, but no. So very much the same across the board. In terms of the role itself, was there anything that surprised you about the role that you sort of wasn't expecting, but you kind of worked out?
I think I was expecting the level of committees, but not the amount of papers that you had to read, especially like some of the boards are quite lengthy papers, so trying to sort of cipher through them and sort of get prepared when you've got 2 or 3 a day can be sort of quite heavy going at times. So I think that was my biggest surprise.
I think for me, as part of the role, I didn't realise how many different things presidents would be able to get involved in. So I wasn't aware before going for the role that you would be getting involved in like fitness to practice panels and casework. And to be honest, I loved that I got to be involved in that. And I think it surprised me also how many different things you can actually get involved in within higher education, because I think I wasn't aware of the amount of different departments and the amount of different teams and roles that are involved in higher education in general. So I think it was really it was a nice surprise to sort of open my mind up a little bit to all the different possibilities within HE.
Yeah, I agree, because I think when I went for the role, I thought campaigns, and that was kind of that was our role essentially, but like you said, it's so much more than that. And with the different boards, I remember there's program board, there's SLT boards, there's this board, there's that board, and I think having to sort of learn to prioritise which ones are actually the ones that you need to go to and sort of which papers are actually the most relevant and important. It's a good surprise, like you said, because you can sort of get your foot in every door, but it's having to sort of balance that a little bit, which I think I found to be quite surprising.
I'd love to know if it's still alive and kicking, but mine and Jack's present to the future presidents after we left was an acronym cheat sheet that we made on Excel of all the different acronyms that we've learned throughout the year.
I've seen it. No, it's amazing. I had to make my manager one because she'd never done healthcare before, so I had to be like, this is the healthcare slang, and sort of give that to her, because it's all sorts, isn't it? So sort of similar to that then, if it was a good surprise, what did you gain from the role? Even things maybe you weren't expecting to gain?
I think for me, I'd done little bits of public speaking in the past and speaking in front of groups, but I didn't have a lot of experience in it. And I think being able to go out to different lectures, different sessions, and talk to big groups of people massively helped with my self-confidence, because as I said, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence beforehand. And I think one big thing to for people to know is that I don't think you necessarily have to be the loudest person in the room. And I think me and like myself and Ben probably will both agree that we were not like the loudest people in a room. But I think doing the role and being able to speak to loads of different groups and loads of different people really like has helped massively with my confidence and like being able to speak to like large groups of people.
I suppose before I go on to mine, it's sort of that it's really nice to sort of see, you know, your colleague sort of blossom and develop into this sort of, you know, bigger, more confident individual, because like me and Jack sort of became very close and now like really good friends of it. And then through that year, watching him sort of get more and more confident is like really, really nice to see. What did I learn? I suppose I got better at my project management skills, which has sort of always been a slight interest, because the thing is, as a president, you are juggling lots of various different plates, and it's sort of, I suppose, you realise sometimes you don't have to do everything. You really have to prioritise what's important. And I think sometimes, especially within the president role, you can get so wrapped up in so many different things that you have to keep yourself grounded and remember what is important for the students. You're here for the students, no one else. So what are you going to do to make a difference for the students?
Yeah, definitely. I think like I've had to learn that, especially over the past sort of year of, I think because we're all so passionate about what we're doing, we've got all these ideas and energy, but like you said, it is really channeling sort of what's actually the priority. And like you said, that project management, like I've really had to learn to do that because I want to do everything and I just can't. But I also think as well, as a nursing student, this role was seen as very rogue, like sort of going into a presidency role when I'm studying to be a nurse. And I've said, like, sort of similar to you, Jack, like the self-confidence I've got and the advocacy that I've now got for my patients is like so much better just because of me doing this role. So it is interesting how you can get those skills and they're so transferable to sort of every sector. But yeah, I think sort of a question I'm interested in is, where are you now after sort of presidency? What are you doing? What are you up to?
I think me and Ben took two very different routes. So like for me is, I mean, I'm still in higher education. So I've moved back home to Sunderland now. And I'm working at the University of Sunderland as a student advisor for career-related opportunities. So I work with students to source funded internship opportunities, and I also run our mentoring provision as well. So I have been working on developing a series of academically aligned mentoring programs for students, and I think it's brought together like two areas of the president role that like I really enjoyed. So like my campaign was based around placement provision for arts and sciences students, and also like that sort of student advice, speaking to students. It was like I sort of said I would love to go into either of those two sectors, and I've managed to find a role which is sort of combined both like perfectly. So yeah, I'm still enjoying it at the moment, but yeah, I moved about 200 miles away, so I'll let Ben say where he is now.
So I'm a little bit more closer to home. That I've actually stayed at Edge Hill so for the past 2 years since the president role. So for the first year, I moved into the university's new knowledge exchange office, helped set that up. I was a knowledge exchange officer and sort of worked with businesses and small and medium enterprises to sort of promote Edge Hill's business offer and what can our sort of lecturers and our students do to support things like continued professional development or consultancy. And then more recently, I've now moved over into your faculty, Paige. I'm now in the Faculty of Health in a research support administration role with a main focus on research events and supporting academics to run their research events and conferences. And I've also carried on studying, and as of last week submitted my MRes. So my sort of love for education swings in both ways of working in education, but also continuing my own education.
Fabulous. No, that's really great to hear, and it's been so lovely to catch up with you both and sort of see what you gained from the role. And I think it's so interesting how, even though you were sort of presidents of the past, like how sort of the similarities between all of the presidents of actually sort of the passion, drive, and I suppose what we've gained from it. Thank you so much for catching up with me. It's really lovely to speak to you both, and I will speak to you
as well
soon. Thank you.
Thank you.